When you were playing that record, what were you thinking?
Welcome back. I've recently received some messages asking if I have any advice for newer players just starting up, or if I have any pointers for more experienced players on how to refine their craft. So I'm going to give you 5 bits of advice that I wish I was told by some mildly competent Cro-Magnon on the internet. So the first piece of advice that I want to give you is look at your strap height. How are you holding the guitar, how are you playing it, and how comfortable are you playing it? So your strap height isn't just about how cool you look. If you're playing with your bass really low, and you'll find that you're getting some pain in your left hand or feeling like you're getting fatigued way too quickly and you should be able to go on for a bit longer, try just bringing it up slightly and see how it feels to play then. The ideal is to have a straight wrist that feels relaxed and comfortable, and the more relaxed and comfortable you feel, the faster and more relaxed you'd be able to play. But more importantly than how it affects your playing is how long it can affect your playing. As you might look cool at the time, but you're not going to look very cool if you have to give up playing bass in your 30s because you have carpal tunnel. If you're experiencing hand fatigue or experiencing pain, it might be time to look at your strap height and decide to change it slightly. So my second bit of advice is about your picking style. So while some parts of your setup can make you more versatile, if you want a change of sound or a slight change of tone, don't just go straight into buying new equipment. Consider changing how you're picking and how you're playing. You can make changes on your right hand from finger picking to playing with a pick. Or doing slap bass. To making changes on the left hand where you start to mute notes or play them slightly differently. And you can even mute on your right hand as well. All of these different ways of playing can bring different tones, which means that you don't necessarily have to break the bank finding that perfect tone. A lot of the versatility of your instrument is already in your hands, and all you need to do is just experiment and try and find it. Furthermore, no matter how you're playing with your right hand, whether it's with your fingers or with a pick, the further you move it closer to the bridge can make a real difference with your tone as well. So if you've got something like a precision bass that has both a jazz and precision pickup, try changing your anchoring point from the precision pickup down to the jazz and see how much of a difference it makes to your playing, as it might be that you find your new favourite tone there. Now this next point is something that I really wish I was told, and it's probably the most important bit of advice that I can give to you, and that is do not use tabs as a crutch. I've had some messages from people asking how do I learn songs from ear, and the reality for me was a whole lot of trial and error. So start trying to learn songs, even if it's just the root notes of those songs. Before looking at tab, try learning it just by ear. If you can figure out where those root notes are based off of just hearing, then it can really help you understand your instrument a lot more. It'll help you with improvisation in the future, and it'll help you with songwriting in the future, just by knowing your instrument and how it feels to find different notes on there. This is especially important if you're playing live, because if something goes wrong, like your strap slips, or if you find yourself lost in the middle of a song, knowing exactly where those root notes are can really help you find your way back into the groove. So this takes a lot of trial and error to start with, but over time you'll get to understand where the notes are on the bass and be able to just learn songs that much quicker, whether it's by ear or alongside tabs. So my advice is not to never use tabs, it's just to use them to supplement what you're already playing. If you can figure out even just the first 4 notes of a song before looking over at a tab to just confirm that what you've got is right and figure out where you're going next, then that is invaluable experience as a bassist. So not overly relying on tabs will help you understand your instrument far further than just knowing how to play songs on it. So following on from the last part, don't shy away from something just because it's difficult, and do not cut corners when learning things. If you practice in mistakes or shortcuts when you're first learning something, then down the line, as pieces start to get harder and more complex, you might find that you start to struggle because you can no longer rely on these shortcuts. Take the time to slow things down and not develop these bad habits. Break the song apart so you can understand the different parts, so then when you play them all together, it's far more lucid. So you can always add in shortcuts later, but do it after knowing the song fully. So this could be adding in hammer-ons when you should be picking with your right hand, rather than just relying on your left hand. Or only using one finger on your right hand just because it feels easier than using two. Like I said before, when songs get faster and more complex down the line, you're gonna wish that you put in the effort to learn all these difficult things at the beginning, because it makes the stuff further down the line way more simple. So instead of hammering it on, slow it down so it's 1, 2, 3, rather than doing it quickly straight off the bat. And make sure that with your right hand, you're able to pick smoothly with the amount of fingers that you decide to use, whether it's 2, 3, or 4. But just relying on one can potentially slow you down in the future. So finally, follow your own path. Don't listen to every loser on the internet with a YouTube channel. Wait. The way that Nate Mendel plays is different to the way that Joe Dart plays, which is different to the way that Thundercat plays. There isn't a blueprint on how to make you the best bassist that you can be, because there hasn't been a you before. Everything from the way that your hands are shaped to who you take inspiration from make you the only bassist like you. Of course, learn off of other people, look at techniques that you like and implement them into your style of play, whether it's playing 16th notes like Joe Dart, or figuring out chord patterns like Thundercat, but bring them back into your style of playing. Don't set out to be a carbon copy. Bassists are just expected to be droopy, miserable loners on one side of the stage who only move past their wrists. And if that's the way that you want to play, power to you. Do that, but do it because you want to. So whether you decide to pick, to pluck, or use telekinesis, do it because you want to, not because you're expected to. I hope this video has been useful in some way and helped you refine your skills or given you some kind of other perspective on playing bass. If you have any questions on how I play bass, feel free to message me on Twitter. My DMs are always open. But for the time being, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.